Hello again, I'm Jim Glover, that branding guy for Wednesday Marketing, where business takes shape. Today is Action Wednesday. We're going to help you implement your action plan. And there's a Chinese philosopher named Lao Tzu, and a long time ago he said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Now, I don't know if he actually said miles. I'm not sure if miles or kilometers or leagues or whatever existed way back when, but I think you get the point. And that is that you're returning to once-a-day marketing all the time. And that's our goal, because a little goes a long way, and somewhere out in the not-too-distant future, your business is going to firm up a lot. Now, today's title is The Power of Networking, Real FaceTime. I'm a huge fan of networking as part of your marketing strategy, especially in this digital world when people aren't really interacting too much. But this is your chance through networking to get out and meet people face to face. I think that's very powerful. Now, what you have to make sure that when you develop this relationship, that it is a two-way street. You need to give and take. If you're only taking, this relationship's not going to go very far. So be sure that it is a two-way street. But if you really work this, if you really work networking, then you're going to build a powerful network that you can use to take you almost anywhere in the future. Doesn't matter who you're looking for, what kind of person, chances are this powerful network you've built will allow you to seek that person out. There are many networking events out there, tons. So it's important for you to determine which are the best for you to attend. I have attended many in my life that probably I shouldn't, maybe wasted my time. But most importantly, it wasn't the right mix of people that I wanted to add to my network. So be very careful when you're checking these out to make sure it is the kind of people that you would like to build your network on. Once you get there, you need to seek out the right people. There's going to be tons of people there. You don't need to spend time with people that aren't necessarily going to help you in the future with respect to building your network. So seek out the right people. Maybe you know because there's some sort of program that introduces who's there, and you can beeline for those people. Or if you have no idea, you can always talk to the organizer and they might be able to point you in the right direction. Now, your biggest goal is to come away with some takeaways, and that is the opportunity to add these people to your network and to be able to develop that relationship so you can interact with them in the future. And that's what your goal is by attending each networking event. Here are a few tips I want you to think about when you start networking. First, bring your business card. It sounds obvious, but I have forgotten them. Today, fortunately, you also have your electronic business card with your smartphone, so maybe in the future that problem will go away. Next, bring a pen, because I want you, when you're listening to the people you're talking to at the networking event, to make some notes in your head, and then you're going to write those down. Those are going to be important for follow-up afterwards. The next thing is how to get into the conversation. When you seek that person out, you need to kind of quickly get into the conversation. Perhaps you know their work, you can comment on that. Perhaps you have mutual friends, you can comment on that. Maybe you know that person loves tennis and you love tennis, so you guys can establish a conversation through there. But it's important to get that conversation going. Now, you want to keep it about them more than you. You want to learn what their interests are, what they're working on right now, who their associates might be. And then you want to share a little bit about yourself that's intriguing, but what you don't want to do is monopolize their time, because they're at this meeting to network as well. So sort of get in and get out. And thank them for the opportunity of meeting them. And when you leave, now you've got that pen, what I want you to do is quickly jot down the notes of that conversation, because when you meet 5 or 6 other people, you might forget all about that. And then when you get home, I want you to call up that database, put in their contact information, but equally important, I want you to put the date of when you met them, where you met them, and then transcribe those notes over about what you talked about, because you will use those as touch points with them in the near future. Now, what's critical about networking is the follow-up. So my first recommendation is that within 24 hours, you get back to that individual. They are somewhat remembering you, but if you can get back to them quickly, that will help keep that in their mind. But what do you do to get back to them? Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to thank them for the opportunity to meet. I think they'll appreciate that. You might even send them a card. We talked about personal notes. Send them off a card also indicating that you liked meeting them. Now, what else can you do? Perhaps in that conversation, remember the notes you took, you remembered that they are looking for a tennis instructor. And you happen to have a good friend who is a very good tennis instructor. Perhaps you refer them together. Maybe that individual said that they were looking for somebody to help their project, and you again know somebody in your network that might be perfect for it. So perhaps you request the opportunity to hooking them up. Now the last thing is whether or not you should get back in touch personally with that individual on a face-to-face. And that's up to you. But the main thing is, can you help them and can they help you? You don't want to waste their time, but if you feel there's a good fit, that's a nice relationship builder for the future, then I recommend that you set up a time to meet with them. There's tons of Starbucks out there. They're probably out there for dating and for business networking. And you can say, hey, let's have a cup of coffee. I'd like to share a little bit more about myself, and I'd like to learn more about what you're doing and where you're taking your business, for instance. And that might be a good basis for your next personal meeting with them. I think you can see now why networking is so important and why it should be an integral part of your marketing plan in the future. But it's going to be up to you to build that network. When you go to these events and you make these contacts, it'll be up to you to follow up, because chances are they won't. Even as good as that conversation went, they might have forgotten to write down those notes and they're not contacting you. So you nurture those relationships, you make sure it is a two-way street, and over time you should build a wonderful relationship with these individuals and build a powerful network that you can use anytime you want. And that's effective marketing. Well, that's another Action Wednesday. Thanks for watching. Be sure to drop by tomorrow if you can for Recon Thursday. And maybe somewhere in the not too distant future we can actually do some networking together. I'd really like that. I'm Jim Glover, that branding guy for Once a Day Marketing, and I think you know the drill by now. I'll see you next time.